This is incredible. It's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
Sha-Rock. This is you know, history. History is an important thing. I just think that in all genres of life, you know what I mean. And of course, you play a major role in the hip hop world. And that, you know, that's that. And that will always remain there. Of course, we're going to talk about this book, but I definitely want to give the world a sort of a brief synopsis on who you are, right? But always got to let it be known that we're currently at Books in the Hood, you know.
Books in the Hood.
Books in the Hood.
In the Bronx.
In the Bronx. You dig what I'm saying?
In the Bronx.
Talk to us. Give us something. This, please. And
My name is Sha-Rock. I'm from the group, the Funky 4+1. For me, it started back in 1976. I started out as a B-girl. And I went to a Kool Herc party, you know, back in 1976. And that's what got me really involved, you know, in becoming really an MC. But I think that the journey, for me, has to do a lot with the Bronx. You know, because back then, when a lot of people like to, you know, say, you know, because of this is how hip-hop started or whatever. But for me, it was just everything that we were going through at that time was a form of a richness for me to be able to say, you know what, this is something that I want to gravitate to. And Kool Herc is the one that had started me off, you know, into becoming the MC that I am today, just by being a B-girl.
What made you say, you know what, it's time to write this book?
You know what, the bottom line is that it's been almost 30-something years, you know, and I'm getting older,
right?
You know, and some people know the age, but I'm getting older, and I truly felt that after all of these years, you know, if you're not saying nothing, I always felt like I had no need to tell people who I was,
right?
You know, because I felt like it was common knowledge. But as I began to start talking to young kids, you know, even kids that have made, even older people that probably was my age, had no clue of who Sha-Rock was, or who was the Funky 4+1.
Right.
And then also people begin to start changing history, you know, and just taking out what really happened and in placing what they thought had happened. So I said, you know what, I need to go ahead and really just talk about the experience of me, Sha-Rock, and also with the Funky 4, to really just be able to break it down, because it's my history as well as my kids' history, as well as the world history, and I think that the story needed to be told. Well, okay, what I did is basically I just really got to the point, you know, because I had a whole lot of people from.
That's a long point now.
Oh yeah, but I got to the point though. I chopped it up, but I chopped it up in a sense where you can be able to understand what we went through. I didn't do the drag out long thing, just to make extra pages and all of that stuff to make the book look thick. When you read it, you're gonna know, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I got to the point. I took it from how it started for me as a girl growing up, to every step that we took as the Funky 4+1 to be able to be the first group, you know, that were pioneers on the street even before '79. That was how we accomplished so much in a little bit of time, and it's a known fact history, but never really got the recognition for it. You know? Right. So it's known. So I actually broke it down to everything: the misconceptions, the changes that people have been making over the years. I just broke it down to where you can understand that this is what happened for us in the Funky 4. And my goal really is to make sure that I solidify my group in history. Even though the information is there, I want to talk about it because a lot of people in the world don't know.
So Sha, have you regarding a matter of distributing it? Did you do it? Are you self-publishing?
And I did that. And let me tell you why I did that. Because I went back to when I'm 16, 17 years old, growing up in the streets. We got marketing. You had to hit the streets. You had to go to the people. You had to go to the people. If you go out, and I was in Lamberg, I'm from Lamberg, and so I went out to the young kids. And I wasn't shocked that they didn't know who I was. But that right there just gave me an incentive to say, you know what? It's like being an MC all again. You know, back in the days, you didn't have, you know, like, you know, the media. You didn't have the radio, you know, to push you. You had to go out there and you had to pass out your flyers. You had to convince those people that was watching you in the crowd that you was the MC that you was supposed to be. And then you had to make sure that you command their respect. So I want to take it back to the streets. Yes, you know, I can probably, you know, go through at some point and use the media. But right now, I'm going back to the streets. I want to take it back to the streets. I want to do it myself, and I want people to know me and know my group as being the icons that we are. So I took it upon myself, along with Aisha Brown which is my co-writer, to make sure that we do that. We take it back to the streets. So we have our dream of doing 100,000 before the end of the year, and we're going to do it.
That's what I'm talking about.
See, because the streets is what made us.
That's right.
The streets is what made us. That's right. And if you don't take it back to the streets, then it ain't in your heart. Right. You're doing it for all the wrong reasons. Right. So yes, say what you want, but I plan to take it back to the streets, and that's what I'm doing now. And it has helped me. That's what has always helped me.
Now, Sha, we got the book. Mm-hmm. Next moves after the book.
The next move. You know what? My thing is right now, I'm really focusing on the book because a lot of times, you get caught up in, now I'm gonna get the book. I want to move on to this, and the book right now is my passion.
I respect
the
that.
history is my passion.
I respect
so
that.
Until that history is put out there, I'm not focusing on nothing else.
It's solidified.
I'm not focusing on nothing else right now.
I didn't throw it out there, to look at, or just to create a level of controversy in a sense or whatever. But from dealing with iconic artists, you know what I mean. Sometimes there's a bit of, I don't know. I won't say hate.
No, I feel you.
But there's a bit of.
I feel you. But you know what the thing is that the bottom line I see is that if you are true to the game, if you're true to the culture, no matter what, or you're true to the history of hip hop, you go with the flow. Because the bottom line is that when I know a lot of people, when they talk about the the iconic aspect and the pioneers that has been, the first thing they like to say is that we're bitter.
Right.
But you know what? Maybe I don't know. I can only speak for myself, and for me, it's like the money was never the issue.
Right.
My payoff at the end is that I'm going to make sure that the Funky 4+1, the Sha-Rock, go down in history. That's my payoff.
Right.
That's my payoff. You can keep everything else, but that's how I want to be able to keep payoff. It's not going down in history.
Of course, we with the infamous Sha-Rock. Please, luminary icon, support it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Please support it.
It's in stores, and if you don't find it in your local store, ask whoever to go ahead and put it in your store, okay? You'll also get it on Amazon.com, Luminary Icon.